Spoiler alert. Well, not really. I mean, there will be spoilers for this series in the review. But if you haven't seen the original Avatar series by now, it's been out for 20 years, and that's on you. Now let's proceed with Netflix live action Avatar The Last Airbender series. My cabbages! It was not bad, not great, not a one-to-one copy, but a reimagining. Alright, we're just gonna rip the band-aid off. I'm pretty sure that the show writers forgot the purpose of the Avatar, while continuously reminding us the purpose of the Avatar. I'm also pretty sure that they forgot Aang was supposed to learn waterbending at some point this season. This is supposed to be book 1, water. Not at any point does Aang learn waterbending. That is his purpose right now. He is supposed to be learning bending in order to defeat the Fire Lord in the end. Nope. I don't know where that's at. Aang is also missing some qualities. You know, they removed a lot of things. They changed a lot of things around in this show from the original source material. And I'll never understand why they take those liberties upon themselves to do that, as if they need to change with time. But we'll get into that, because one of the qualities that's missing from Aang is that he was goofy, he was fun, and he's not. I mean, for the first 5 minutes he is in this. First 5 minutes of episode 1, yeah, sure, once that long intro is over with, we see that. But then that personality trait gets left in the iceberg. Perhaps they are toning down that aspect of Aang because they have shifted the climate of this version, this installation of the series. And they wanted to set it apart from the original, and boy, do they do that. In this series, there's a very dark tone to it. And that's fine, because I like dark tone things. And for instance, the Firebenders, they show ruthless aggression. They are incinerating people. Even in episode 1, the raid on the air temple, I'm really glad they showed that. The fight choreography was dope, and everything about it was S tier. The combat was S tier. The acrobatics, the fight scenes, and the whole series are great. That is one of the highlights of the series, is the fight scenes, and there's a lot of them. But I'm really glad they showed the raid on the air temple, because it helps create that fiery pit in your stomach, to have a disdain for the Fire Nation, the way the other people in the world there do, especially once you witness what they did to the monks. But I feel as though the reasoning behind the tonal shift in the series is because they want it to have more real-world implications, and they want us to witness what is happening in this series, but then also put into scope the other wars that are happening around us, the ones that we witness. All right, let's talk about world building. The scale of the scenery is gorgeous. I mean, my eyeballs turned to butterflies. It was gorgeous. And it was very expansive. That's one of the things I loved so much about the original series, is how expansive the world of Avatar The Last Airbender is. Because you see them on this journey, and they're discovering villages and cities, and they're meeting all of these people along the way. And it made me want to do globe trekking. But they removed all of the filler and some of those journeys out of this version. So you're missing out on that. But the world itself is still massive. And when they open the lens up and you get a full scope a wider view of how big the area around them is. It's magnificent, really. Oh, Mashu was sexy. They did a good job of putting Omashu on display, and they probably knew they better not mess it up, and they didn't. I would have liked to explore it a little bit more, but hey, if I want to do that, I'll go back and watch the original. It is what it is. They do a good job of the duality of making it feel lively and desolate. They capture that very well, just as the original series did. So kudos to them. They made everything visually appealing. I loved looking at it. I loved watching it. Now, speaking of visually appealing, let's talk about the visual effects. The bending. They needed to make it look good. The show is all about bending, or at least it's supposed to be. They did a great job. It was top notch. The visual effects, nailed it. Whatever you witnessed in that last Airbender movie, forget about it. It never happened. They were throwing pebbles. They're throwing boulders. They're ready to throw planets, okay? They're forming spirit bombs. It's nuts. They do such a good job. It's very eye-pleasing. You know, you have a little eye-gasm every time you see it. The firebending, you feel the firebending. You feel the heat radiating off of it. The earthbending, you feel the earth shattering as they're ripping rocks out of the ground and the crumbles happen. The air bending, you feel the gust of wind in your house. You get chills. You think there's a ghost in the room with you. The tornadoes form on your TV. It looks great. And then we have water bending. Water bending. Okay, Katara. They made it look awful. Okay, well, let's not say it looks awful. It doesn't feel effective. It looks good. It looks very cool. And waterbending is very strong in the animated series. But not in this series. They make Katara's bending. Feels very splish splash. Like she's in a pool. You're in a pool with your friends and you're just splish splashing the water around. You're trying to dust a little droplets on them. That's all she does. That's it. She makes the moves look really cool and then she does her attacks, and when they land, somebody dumped water on them. That's it. That's it. I just hope that they improve the impact. Because she's supposed to be learning the bending right now, so maybe it's not as strong. Okay. Apparently, she's already mastered the technique. She's able to do everything. She excels. She's a master, or so they'll tell you. But her impact was not there. I was not impacted. I did not wet myself seeing it happen. So hopefully they improve that. The green screen, the CGI. At times, you'll notice it. When the characters are stationary and the background is moving around behind them, it's not a detractor. You'll notice it from time to time and then forget about it. It is what it is. It happens. It's kind of like early 2000s Harry Potter, but people love Harry Potter. It is what it is, man. And the coloring, the lighting, they did really great with that. Whenever they're trying to set the tone for a scene and you see that hue, that saturation, the light just being cast over the characters, it's great. And it gives you this essence, this aura of the character you're looking at and the feelings that are on display there. It makes me feel like I'm watching The Mummy or The Scorpion King, and you see that glow radiating from the characters. All right, let's talk about pacing. Now, the pacing is terrible. It tries to do too much too fast. It's always hammer down in your face all the time. Whatever is going to happen, it's happening now. Oh, it's supposed to happen in this? No, it's happening right now. We're not waiting. It's happening now. You got that? When's it happening? Now. There's no room to breathe. That is not like the original because they had excellent pacing. It allows things to develop. It allows characters to develop. It allows situations. It allows anticipation. This doesn't do that. Aang says, find balance, feel the energy. They don't do that here. This series does not allow you to find a balance or any energy. It doesn't. They just empty the clip and they have no reserve ammo. I mean, they do if they choose to use it because apparently they're veering from the source material. So that, we'll see. We'll see. Now, season 2 is supposed to be season 2. However, season 1 just happened and they have pieces and elements of season 2 mixed in. The spirit owl randomly appears. Why is he there? Hey, he's there. The cave of two lovers. Secret tunnel. They just cram everything together. It's all crammed together in one big pile of dirt. There's no build-up. There's no allure. There's no dramatic reveals. There's no mystique around anything. The Fire Lord is supposed to have a mystique and a draw where you want to discover and see him. They don't keep him in the shadows. They just give him to you right away. Hey, he's the Fire Lord. Here he is. Look at him in all his glory. And hopefully he's got pants on. But they did choose a great actor for the Fire Lord. I will say that. Daniel Day Kim, good actor choice, for sure. They remove elements of the show, which shows that they're not masters of all elements, which is what the Avatar is supposed to represent. There's no exploration. It's all business all the time. All the time. They stand on business, and they want you to know that. Aang, you want to go? No, Aang, don't forget who you are. Don't forget why you're here. Oh, I want to... If you don't listen, why I oughta... you better listen, boy. I'm telling you, you're the Avatar. Don't forget it. It just removes the heart. So, yeah, the pacing is the worst element of the show. They were probably in fear that they wouldn't get greenlit for a season 2. And they wanted to cram as many little things in as possible while also removing other things that people were looking forward to in this season. They stubbed their toe on Lego in the process. There's no tension. The pacing completely ruins the tension. But it is aided by an amazing musical score. All those underlayment, the sounds that you hear echoing as it's supposed to build up to those moments. And then it just falls flat. The tension is ripped right out of there. It's a weird juxtaposition. They're certainly lacking in one department. Character building. And we'll start with Aang. Aang lacks his innocence and his conflicted emotions, all of which we see on display in the original series, just as we are supposed to. He's a 12-year-old boy who was trapped in an iceberg for 100 years. He's supposed to want to be a kid when he comes out, because he is one. He wants to have fun. He wants to play around with his friends. No, not today. You better not do that. Let me remind you who you are. Every episode, you are the Avatar. You have a responsibility. You are 12 years old. There is no time for playtime. You better listen to me, because I'm going to tell you again in the next episode. But in the original, he was always conflicted in his emotions because he wanted to be a kid. He didn't really want to be the Avatar, but he had to be the Avatar because he wanted to save everybody around him too. And the conflicting emotions come out because he wants to play, he wants to have fun. But that doesn't happen in this. There is no time for fun. It's all business, as I told you. You want to go have a side quest? You want to go try on outfits at the festival? Nope, not happening, buddy. Better get back to your duties. You better practice bending. Oh, hey, we're removing that too. You're not even going to practice bending. It's weird. It felt weird. It didn't feel like the Aang I know. It didn't feel like the Aang that I cosplayed as. It's not the Aang we grew up with. Now, the actor himself, great job. For a kid actor, hell yeah. He wasn't even born when the show came out, so I'm not blaming him. He actually went back and watched the show 26 times. So I'm sure he knew who Aang was. But that's not what was in the script. And I don't know why you would change the forefront of the series. The one that all eyes are on is the one who's supposed to be on the screen 90% of the time. The actual Avatar. We don't get to grow with Aang because they expect him to be grown right away. They've written him this way now. His nuts didn't even drop yet, but they want him to be the savior of the world. They do a great job of really putting that weight of the world on his shoulders because they're constantly scrutinizing him. They're putting all this pressure on him. And what's he supposed to do? They're putting him in a vice grip. They're going to fold this kid. But he'll come through because he's the Avatar. Now, Katara. What the hell happened to Katara? That is not Katara. She lacks conviction. She lacks her overbearingness, the mother figure that we were used to seeing. What happened? What did they do to her? I don't know. They made her so odd, and she's supposed to be the one providing guidance. But I'm going to need to see a guide to figure out who the hell this imposter is, first of all. Because she doesn't provide any guidance for Aang or Sokka, the Team Avatar bond. She's supposed to help create that, bring them together. They're just suddenly, hey, we're best friends. I don't want you to die. You don't want me to die. Let's high five, man. Team Avatar. And they don't even explore the Aang and Katara relationship. They don't have any expectations of those two getting together in the end. They may have rewritten it. Maybe Aang just ends up alone and Katara ends up with Jet. Who knows what's going to happen? She was supposed to be the one that takes his hand, calms him down out of the Avatar state before he rampages. That doesn't happen. Why was that not there? That's such a pivotal moment for both of them. What happened to Katara? That's not Katara. Sokka. He's not sexist anymore. We know. He's going to be all right. He's still a pimp, oddly enough. But why change character dynamics? Why do that to Sokka? Sokka had some of the best character development in the whole series. It was a great thing to witness the change in his demeanor and his outlook on things and the way he looks at women. You know, why take that away from us? Show the snarky remarks and then make him eat his words. Help him gain new light on women. That's a good thing to see. Oh, well, we gotta get with the times. People still do that. Toxic masculinity still exists. People are still sexist. Have Sokka be the poster boy for that change again. Sokka and the Kyoshi warriors. He never really comes to grip how fierce those females are and how fierce women can be. You never see him grasp that. Sokka and Suki. What the hell was that? They turned Suki into this creepy stalker, and there's this weird sexual tension. When Sokka leaves, is he a changed human being? Does he have a better outlook and perception of how strong and fierce women are? I don't know. We're left to wonder. Have the Kyoshi warriors whoop his ass. Now, Zuko. In this, Zuko is more reserved and keeps his emotions, his anger all bottled up inside of him. And you see him get teary-eyed from time to time. We're used to seeing the fiery temper tantrum, hell hath no fury, Zuko. And we see it occasionally. He gets a little fiery from time to time. But he doesn't really let those emotions spill out. He bites his tongue. He minces his words occasionally. He's still passionate, has strong convictions, but it's confusing. And I think that fits the character because Zuko is confused. Iroh. I love Uncle Iroh. He's my favorite character in the series. But in this, he's not so jolly and carefree. He's lacking in the ear nugget department, those little ear biscuits that he gives to the viewers and Zuko. Where are they? I'm waiting. I love hearing Uncle Iroh pass down this knowledge and these ages of wisdom that he wants to place into our minds. I love that. That's why people are drawn to Iroh. He's so cool. He's so laid back, but he's still badass. I'm used to Uncle just playing mahjong and drinking his tea and casually going about his day while dropping those nuggets on you. Then you're smarter for having listened to him. It's great content hearing Uncle Iroh speak. I'm not sure where that's at. I like this Iroh, but there's a few changes they can make if they just look at the source material. Then I'll love this Iroh. Now, you're probably gonna boo me, but King Boomy was not boomy. He felt more like Goldmember from Austin Powers. He even sounded like him. He looked like him, but he wasn't as fun, unfortunately. It's sad because King Boomy is one of my favorite characters in the entire series. I love Boomy. This Boomy had a sour taste in his mouth, and it wasn't rock candy. He had sort of a disdain when he reunited with Aang. There was no mystique or build-up. Hey, Aang, who's the king now? You got to go through these stages. No. Oh, it's Boomy, my old pal from 100 years ago. He's still alive. Let's celebrate. No. Boomy seemed more angry with Aang for the fact that he disappeared for 100 years, which I guess, that happens. If your best friend disappears for 100 years and then just reappears like nothing happened, you might be a little upset. I get it. Hopefully, they changed the dynamic of their relationship because it left me feeling indifferent towards it. Commander Zhao. I want to give a shout out to that character because the actor who plays him, Ken Leung, he was great. Every time he was on screen, the best acting, top tier. And he also acted in Rush Hour, which is one of my favorite action comedies. I hold near and dear to my heart. Seen it a million times, so it was a delightful surprise to see him in this cast. He had way more screen time than I expected, but I'm totally fine with that. Now, the bright spots. So put on your sunglasses. Ko, the face stealer, was the show stealer. Creepy as hell. Give him his own show. I'll watch that. Thank you. The dark essence of the spirit world and him roaming in there, I loved it. Gyatso reappearing and disappearing in the spirit world made me tear up. I'll be honest. It made me sad. Aang finally getting to talk with him after 100 years and Gyatso waiting for him, and it was for but a brief moment. It makes me sad thinking about it right now. So, good job. Good job, team. You made me cry. The climax of epic proportions. Aang turns into Godzilla. He makes waterbending look unstoppable. I don't know what Katara's been doing, but Aang is out here throwing tsunamis while Katara is over here with squirt guns and just making the enemies mildly upset. It was a kaiju battle of epic proportions. It can rival Pacific Rim. Just great job with the visuals and the sound effects. I enjoyed every aspect of that battle. The casting was good. Aang, Katara, Sokka, Zuko, Iroh, all top-notch choices. The acting was good. At times a little spotty, but look and voice-wise, they sound similar to the original cast. The dialogue was stiffer than Morningwood, doesn't feel very fluid. The delivery falls flatter than SpongeBob's booty, but flat booties need love too. Overall, I'd say episode 6 is probably my favorite because Zuko is the blue spirit and I always enjoyed that. All in all, they dropped the ball. But sometimes balls drop and you gotta pick them up before they get stepped on. Unless you're into that. I'll give Netflix's Avatar The Last Airbender series a 7.5 out of 10. I was going to give it a 7, but you made me tear up for Gyatso, so you get an extra 0.5. And I got to watch it with my homies, and they looked great in the series. Either way, I'm looking forward to Toph, the bloodbending, the Lost Library. I'm looking forward to all of that, so hopefully they don't muff that up. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. I wanted to rant a little bit because I just finished binging the series. Yeah, that's pretty much all. I'll see you guys.